morning, students. Now our cost and management accounting 4, the chapter number 2, marginal costing. See, we have discussing about session number 5 in the last class. In this class, let us see session number 6. See, under session number 6, we will discuss about break-even chart, its advantages and limitations. See, in the previous class, we have discussed about the break-even analysis, the uses, its applications, etc. Now let us see what is break-even chart and what are its advantages and limitations. Before taking up this break-even chart, once again see what is break-even analysis. Break-even analysis is a widely used technique to study cost-to-volume profit relationship that we have discussed in the previous class. The narrower interpretations of the term break-even analysis refers to a system of determination of that level of activity where total cost equals total selling price. The broader interpretation refers to that system of analysis which determines probable profit at any level of activity. It portrays the relationship between cost of production, volume of production, and the sales value. It may be added here that cost volume profit analysis is also popularly, although not very correctly, designated as break-even analysis. And again, see break-even point. The point which breaks the total cost and the selling price evenly to show the level of output or sales at which there shall be neither profit nor loss is regarded as break-even point. At this point, the revenue of the business exactly equals its cost. If production is enhanced beyond this level, profit shall accrue to the business, and if it is decreased from this level, loss shall be suffered by the business. Break-even point is the point at which contribution is just sufficient to recover fixed costs, since whatever fixed costs are incurred in the business, these are absorbed by production till this point. Whatever production takes place beyond this level, it will yield additional contribution in the form of profit only. In other words, increase in contribution means increase in profit. Let us see the main aspect of this session, that is break-even chart. The relationship between costs, profit and volume is best visualized by relating them on a chart called break-even chart, C-H-A-R-T chart. It is also known as a profit volume chart or graph. This term is rather more appropriate since the term cost to volume profit analysis is more suitable than the term break-even analysis. Or this break-even chart is the diagrammatical representation of the cost, profit and volume data. The chart not only shows the point at which the costs and revenues would break even, but also presents the costs, revenues and profit at various levels of output. That means here, break-even chart not only shows the point at which costs and revenues would break even or where there is no profit, no loss, but it also shows or presents the total cost at that point, the total revenue at that point, and the amount of profit, whether it is zero or not, at the various levels of output. The effect of changes in costs, selling price and volume production can also be studied through this visual aid, or again with the help of this chart we can see the changes of cost, selling price and volume of production Then, according to the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, London, the break-even chart is, or the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants defines this chart as like this. A chart which shows profit and loss at various levels of activity. The level at which neither profit nor loss is shown, being termed the break-even point. This may also take the form of a chart on which is plotted the relationship either of total cost of sales to sales or fixed costs to contribution. See, break-even chart is a chart which shows, or it is a diagram, or it is the graph which shows profit and loss, profit or loss at various levels of activity of an organization. The level at which neither profit nor loss is shown. So it is the chart which shows the point at which there is no profit, no loss. Again, this may also take the form of a chart on which is plotted the relationship either of total cost of sales or fixed costs to contribution. Thus, the break-even chart is a condensed pictorial representation of a master flexible budget. Showing the normal profit for any given sales volume. It is a useful device for presenting a simplified picture of profit to volume relationships and to aid in demonstrating the effects of changes in various factors such as volume, prices, and costs. The chart impresses effectively and tells the entire story at a glance. Thus, the break-even chart is considered a condensed pictorial representation of a master flexible budget. We can say that this break-even chart is a condensed pictorial representation of a flexible budget showing the normal profit for any given sales volume. The chart impresses effectively and tells the entire story at a glance. A break-even chart portrays one likely profits or losses at different levels of output. Likely profit or losses at different levels of output. Then the relationship between marginal costs and fixed costs, the rate of growth of profit earning for a convenient unit of output, the break-even point, the margin of safety, the angle of incidence, the angle formed by the sales line and the total cost line at the break-even point is known as angle of incidence. A high rate of profit is indicated by a large angle of incidence and vice versa. Then the contribution and the PV ratio. So all these are shown in this break-even chart, or with the help of break-even chart we can get these informations at a glance or at a single place. So just by looking at this chart, we can get this much information. Then assumptions of break-even chart. Costs are classified into fixed and variable. Variable costs directly change in proportion to output. Fixed costs remain constant at all levels of activity. Selling price is same at different levels of output. No change in product mix. Level of efficiency and management policy do not change. So there is no opening and closing stocks since the entire units produced are sold. So we can prepare a break-even chart only when we make these assumptions, or under these assumptions the break-even chart is prepared. Costs are classified into fixed and variable. Variable costs directly change in proportion to output. Fixed costs remain constant at all levels of activity. Selling price is same at different levels of output. No change in product mix. Level of efficiency and management policy do not change. There is no opening and closing stocks since the entire unit produced are sold. Then advantages of break-even chart or analysis. What are the advantages or merits of break-even chart? 1. Provides detailed and clearly understandable information. As we have seen earlier, the chart visualizes the information very clearly, and a look at a glance look at a glance shall give a vivid picture of whole affairs. The different elements of cost, direct material, direct labor, overhead can be presented through an analytical break-even chart. Further, the information presented is in a simple form and therefore is clearly understandable even to a layman. So, one of the advantages of this break-even chart is that even a layman or a man without any knowledge about this break-even analysis can understand the chart or the facts or the figures or data presented on the chart. Then profitability of product and business can be known. See, another advantage of this chart is the profitability, profit earning capacity, and the products of the products can be here known with the help of this chart. And effect of changes of cost and sale price can be demonstrated again. Effect of changes of cost and sale price. What is the effect of increase in the cost or decrease in the cost, and what is the effect of increase in the selling price and decrease in the selling price can be seen in this chart, or we can see all these just by looking at the chart. In other words, the relationship of cost to volume profit at different levels of activity and varying selling prices is shown through the chart. Thus, it studies requisites for survival of the company. Then cost control can be exercised, and the advantage of this chart is we can exercise the cost control, or this chart also helps to the management for exercising its cost control here activity. Then economy and efficiency can be affected. The capacity can be utilized to the fullest possible extent, and economies of scales and capacity utilization can be affected. Comparative plant efficiency can be studied on break-even chart. The efficiency of output in plant is indicated by angle of incidence formed at the intersection of the variable cost and line and the line. Then forecasting and planning is possible. Break-even analysis or chart is helpful for forecasting long-term planning, growth, and stability. Then limitations of the chart. See, these are the limitations of break-even chart. 1. Assumptions of break-even analysis that fixed cost remain constant and variable cost vary in proportion to output will not hold good in the long run, that we have seen. while discussing the break-even analysis also. Assumptions that all units produced are sold is wrong. In practice, the business enterprise shall be having both opening and closing stock. See, this break-even chart is based on the assumptions that there is no opening and closing stock, but this assumption is not hold good. Then, assumption regarding constant selling price is ridiculous as the prices are affected by demand and supply. Again, assumptions regarding the constant selling price is ridiculous. Then, management policy keeps changing due to several factors. This is ignored and it is assumed that policies of the management do not change. Break-even charts assume that product mix remains the same. This may not hold good in the long run. Then the fundamental relationship of profit, volume and cost can be easily understood by break-even analysis rather than by drawing break-even chart. So all these are the all these are the limitations of break-even chart. So this session number 6 is over.